this is my AWS architecture diagram. In this diagram, I have a VPC in Oregon region, which includes public and private subnets specifically created in the availability zone US West 2A. The public subnet hosts a public EC2 instance with Nginx installed, and the security group for inbound roles allows SSH and HTTP from everywhere. Additionally, an internet gateway is set up for the public EC2 instance to communicate with the internet. The private subnet hosts a private EC2 instance, and the security group for inbound roles only allows SSH and HTTP from within the VPC. So it will allow SSH from the public EC2 instance. This is my main.tf. First, I specify a Terraform provider. Then I define a few local variables to be used inside of this main Terraform module. After, I configure the AWS provider to be operated in Oregon. Then there are a few network infrastructures to set up, including VPC, public and private subnets. So both subnets are using the same availability zone, but the public subnet has mapped public IP on launch, which allows all the public instances launched in the public subnet to have a public IP address. And then internet gateway will be for allowing public EC2 instance to communicate with the internet. And then there are two route tables, public and private. So public route table has internet gateway and public subnets associated with it, and private route table only has private subnet associated with it. Security group, there are public and private security groups. For the public security group, it allows all the outbound traffic, and they also allow both SSH and HTTP from everywhere. And for the private security group, it's a little bit different for the ingress role, which I have reference security group ID that is referencing to the public security group. So all the EC2 instances that have the public security group will be able to SSH into the private EC2 instances. Then we generate a local SSH key pair. There are two commands. The first command is to generate a new SSH key when the resource is created, and the second one is to delete the SSH key and its public counterpart when the resource is destroyed. And then there is get local SSH key pair, and that will only do it when Terraform create or update the SSH key pair resource before reading the SSH pub key file. After that, we create AWS key from local key file, and that also depends on whether Terraform has already created or updated the SSH key pair resource before creating and updating this AWS key pair resource for AWS. And we're getting the latest AMI version image. And then here we are finally creating the EC2 instances. So there is a public EC2 instance and a private EC2 instance. They're using the same instance type in AMI, and they're associated. So for public EC2 instance, it will be using the public security group and the public subnets. And it also has an additional user data, which specify the path for the bash script. That the bash script is for setting up the Nginx. And then lastly, I have outputs that will be returning to the terminal when I execute the commands, Terraform play. So this is the bash script for public EC2 instance to configure Nginx. Function package setup. This function will install all the packages that is needed, including Nginx. And function web setup. This part will create an index.html, and it will save into this directory. Now I'm going to initiate the working directory. Then I'm going to validate main.tf. I'm going to plan and apply. So now it is successfully completed, and these are all the resources or infrastructures that are created. Now I'm going to verify that VPC is successfully created by using this command here. And you can see the VPC ID is the same as what's reflected here. Next, I'm going to check the route tables. So there should be two route tables, a public and a private one. So here we have a public route table and a private route table. Up next, we have internet gateway. There is only one internet gateway for the public EC2 instance. So this is the internet gateway ID. It's the same as this one here. And then security groups. So there should be two security groups, a public one and a private one. So this one here is a public security group. And down here we have a private security group. And the private security group, if you see the detail of it for inbound role, the source is referencing to the public security group. Next we have EC2 instances. So there should be two EC2 instances, one public and one private. So the one we're looking at right now is a public EC2 instance. It is associated with the public security group. And the one down here is a private security group, a private EC2 instance. And we see here the public and the private. Now I'm going to show that I'm able to SSH into both public and private EC2 instances. So I'm going to SSH into my public EC2 instance. This is my public EC2 instance, and I can ping Google. I'm getting responses back. And then so it means that I'm able to communicate with the internet. Now from my public EC2 instance, I'm going to SSH into the private EC2 instance. So I notice that there is only a private IP address. There's no public IP address for my private EC2 instance. Now I'm in my private EC2 instance, and I shouldn't be able to communicate with the internet. And to show that I'm not able to SSH into my private instance directly, I exit both private and public EC2 instances. So I'm going to just directly try to SSH into the private instance. And it is not working. So it means that I can only SSH into the private EC2 instances through the public EC2 instances that has the public security group that I configured. So that's it for the video. Thank you for watching, and I'm going to destroy all the infrastructure by using Terraform destroy command. So I forgot to show that the website is working. So I executed the Terraform apply command again, and this is the IP address that I'm getting for the public EC2 instance, and this is the web page. So just to show that this is the public EC2 instance that is running, and the private EC2 instance that is running. This is the IP address, which is matching this one, and the website is working. Thank you.